Call this meeting to order. Is there any agenda additions or deletions? Katie, do you have anything? All right, hearing none, I ask for the approval of the regular meeting minutes of the 28th of December.
Having read them over quickly, just looking them over, I would say approve as presented.
I'll second that.
All right. Is there anyone else have any comments on that? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All righty. I would ask for a motion with regard to the budget workshop, November 9th, December 28th.
So moved, subject to any corrections or maybe.
Second.
Is there any corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Rob, I'll give you these here if you wanna.
Yep, I'll get to those.
All right. Highway, road commissioner, do you have any?
Just an update, we just, started cutting brush on roadsides, actually today. The other thing is we were able to sell the 2009 F550 truck with plow. That got sold just last week. And that's about all I have. Unless there's questions.
We got a pretty good price for it, did we?
Yes. I don't know if you wanna,
You can say it. Public record.
Yeah.
we actually got 15,000 for it.
15,000, yep. Good.
That's better than what we thought, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
Yep.
That's good.
yeah.
Anything else?
That's all I had to report right now.
All right, we have a certificate of highway mileage that we do every year.
Yeah, so, I just noted that there was no changes this year. So it's just, you have to sign it.
Is that the whole board or is that just the chairman?
Usually just a chair.
Just chairman, I think.
I think it lists, well, it says SELECTMEN. There's spaces for like 4 at the bottom.
3. And
Make a motion that, we approve the certificate of highway mileage.
There's a second for,
Second.
is there any further discussion? We can all sign this if we want to.
Just the three of you, that's fine.
Makes no difference to me.
All
There's
right,
room for 3, so the 3 of you do it, that's fine.
all right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Let me just show this real quick. And, warrants are floating and drifting if anybody's interested. Sheriff Fox isn't here.
Sheriff Fox is here on Zoom.
Ah, okay.
So we're to you, Sheriff Fox, so. Good evening. Good evening. Make sure the volume's all the way up so the guys can hear you. I think it is. Yep, okay. So yes, he is here.
All right, do you want to give us a brief report, Sheriff, of what's been going on, and we'll talk to any of our concerns?
Well, I guess the original email that I received was for some concerns. I sent down the report that we have for your town report. I have that with me right here. I believe it was sent a couple weeks ago with the stats and stuff from here.
Have you gotten that, Katie? Or anybody?
No, I haven't got it. One of the concerns we have, is the animal control section, and we've had some folks that have called, and there wasn't any response. Can you give us an update on what is considered your response?
Well, we do have the animal control contract, so I'm not sure where that got. misunderstood, and someone called. If you have a date, I can look it up because I don't know exactly when it occurred, but I did have some different dispatchers in because I had people out on holiday leave and stuff like that, people that don't normally dispatch for us. We were filling some slots, so maybe they were confused on whether or not we cover that for you for the town of Clarendon, and I can address that if that was the issue.
Katie, do you have, any record of the times that people had called and no response?
Gloria got that complaint.
Pardon?
Gloria received that complaint, so I don't know the date of it.
All right, we'll have to check with the town clerk, because that's where the report came in, and I'm sure she probably has some, you know, statistics on what date and all that kind of stuff. We'll ask her to get back to us.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I can think of that may have occurred, Norm, was that because my normal dispatchers are aware that we have covered animal complaints in Clarendon right along, so I'm not sure where the breakdown occurred, and I would like to find that out if that was an issue with a dispatcher that doesn't normally work for me, with filling in.
Okay. So did you get that?
Yeah.
Yep, so it's good.
What we'll do is, we'll ask Katie, to get in touch with, the town clerk tomorrow and see if we can't get a, you know, time when that call did come in.
Was it just one call that there was an issue with, or were there more than one?
I think it was 2.
Yeah.
My understanding was it was 2, Dave, I think is what I heard.
Does anybody have anything else for, Sheriff?
Well, I would like to see a little more action around the village. They do good, they work the four corners, so on Blood House, but never see them up Molten Ave, up in the village, up around the school.
Are you talking like 7B?
Yeah,
Bob?
7B, in Molten Ave, in that area.
Okay.
They would,
Did you hear that, Sheriff Fox?
Oh, we froze there for a second. I think I missed something.
Okay, just the comment from Bob Bixby was, he said that he feels the coverage on Middle Road has been really good, and the four corners, like where Alphresia and Middle Road and Molten Avenue meet, has been really well. But he said that possibly switching it up and doing a little more on the other end of Molten Avenue and in the village on 7B would be a good change up to have.
yeah,
Because they seem to be speeding on that side.
yeah.
Okay, yep.
I do have, I just hired, well, she's been on with us now for probably, I don't know, you may have met her, I did ask her to stop in, but I don't know if she's done that. A new hire that was recently kind of learning the area. She came from Rutland City and took a job here, and she's been working down there. It's probably a couple months now, so she should have her legs underneath her where the geographical lines are and in the towns of Clarendon, so I'm hoping that we'll see an improvement with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to comment on the fact that a couple people did give me a call relative to up by the cemetery in Chippenhook, and they appreciate the fact that there's more appearances of the sheriff's vehicle up there, and they appreciate that. So I just wanted to pass that along to you guys.
Okay, very good. And if you guys get these complaints, you don't have to wait to a meeting to let me know. You can give me a call anytime, and we can get on it probably a little quicker than if we wait, you know, for when you have your meetings. That might help on my end, and I think we'll be more fresh if who might have an issue with where we're at and what they want to see us doing differently.
Great.
Anything else, anybody?
I just want to make comment, being on the town crew, I'm on the roads a lot. I've seen the sheriff's cruisers around different spots, more than I have in the past, so I was quite pleased with that.
Any other comments for anybody?
I think that's all our concern was, so we'll follow up with the town clerk on time and date with those complaints, and we'll get back to you.
Yeah, I'll make sure that our dispatchers talk with the Clarendon for sure.
All right,
Thank you. Much appreciated you joining us tonight.
All right, we all have a great evening then. Thank you.
Happy New Year, be safe.
Thank you.
Yes, you too. Thank you.
Stay safe.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Any public comments? No public. New business? All right, town office report. I understand that the listers are here tonight.
Where? Okay. That's your cue, George. Good evening, gentlemen, and you too, Robert.
Thank you.
I just got to turn my back on you, I hope.
That's perfectly fine.
As you're aware, we've gone to a new map maker, and that started as a result of some of the things we found during the reevaluation, and the fact that the state is going to a statewide system of parcel mapping. And we've spent several days correcting the maps that we were given by our new map maker, because he was going from, what was it, 2007, correct? And so we had to bring them up to date, as well as correct any errors that were there before. And I don't know how many corrections we've handed in. Do you have any idea?
A few dozen.
Okay, so they're corrected, as well as we've looked at every single parcel. And what if you ever have a minute to, you could just thumb through these copies, and you'll see some of the work that we've done. So that's that piece. Now, we've sent in all the corrections that we suggested to our map maker, and he has promised to get us by April 1st a new set of maps that would follow our corrections. We would do a quick review to make sure that what he did is correct, and then we'd give him an okay, and we'd get a new map that we would have put the plastic finish on for us to have for use. We'd probably get a couple of copies, I would guess, that we'd have for use in the town hall. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about tonight concerns the town boundaries of our town as it relates to other towns. And what I want to show you first is this is a map of the state boundaries of the town of Clarendon, excuse me. And this here is a copy of almost the same scale of the map that we are using for our tax purposes. This is our parcels. And as you can see, there is some differences in the boundary lines. Now,
On the southern boundary?
southern boundary and the western boundary are the biggest problems. Our boundary with Rutland town seems to be clean. The boundary with Shrewsbury, there's just a small area of concern, but it doesn't amount to a whole big deal. But the south and the west boundaries have some problems. Now what I've got here, which is going to be hard for you to, Bob, you might want to just step up here for a second, and I'll pass this around. What I've got here is a cutout of our tax map boundary, and this is Shrewsbury line, this is the Wallingford line, and I'm going to lay it on top of here and pass it around so that you can kind of see what the differences are. So you can just kind of pass that along real quick.
Yeah, you s-
Well, we can look together here.
right here.
Yep.
See that, Tash?
Now, when you say Wallingford, are we talking like Haven Hill, that area?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's, I've actually been in contact with Nelson Tiff and Sandy on the phone like 2 weeks ago of my concerns about Haven Hill. We need to discuss that sometime.
So anyways, now that you're taking a look at that one, let me show you the one from towards the west. I'll hold up this map here, and the western boundary you can see right here. And here is our boundaries from our tax map. You can see the difference. It's pretty stark.
Yeah.
So,
Have you guys met with the listers from these other two towns?
well, not as yet. That's in the plans. Let me continue on.
Okay.
What Bob and I have been doing is we've talked with some state officials. We've looked at documents that Bob's going to go over with you in just a minute in terms of the kinds of things that we've done so far. We feel that at some point we need to inform you before we proceed on any other actions. So, Bob, why don't you give them an outline of what we've done for research?
First off, the basic map, that you see back there, the shape of it. The shape of this, the shape of the one, that's just a copy that came off the bulletin board. Everything that's represented as Clarendon, the maps are all identical.
From the state.
From the state. This shape has not changed one iota since at least 1869. That we have our, maps, it's identical. To change town boundaries in Vermont, once the towns agree, this is what we think the boundary is, the state legislature still has to approve it. And as best I know, the last line change for this town approved by the legislature was in 1854. And that was a small part of Clarendon move to Ira, sort of Beaver Hill, the western end of Tier Road. That used to be Clarendon, but that was 1854. The southern boundary, not what we're taxing, but, the official maps. Former town clerk in Wallingford thinks it was established in 1805, and I haven't found the documentation for that, but that's long before 1869, and this hasn't budged, or not this, that's our tax map, but the state one hasn't changed at all since at least 1869. And I have spoken with, Wallingford doesn't have listers anymore, they have it hired out to, the person that's doing it. And, basically he just says, even though this entire corner is cut off, Haven Hill, he just says, well, we have surveys that, for the individual properties, it used to be one big property and then it got diced up. We have surveys that are, say it's Wallingford, or the deeds say Wallingford. And which I say, just someone says it's that town doesn't make it that town if officially, legally, it's not. But basically, there's some very expensive properties in there. We have not spoken at all with Ira, about it, because basically you're just talking up on top of the mountain, woods, and, that's kind of where we are. I mean, my goal ultimately is just, I kind of think our tax map should reflect our actual boundaries.
Now, two questions.
Sure.
One is approximately how much tax dollars?
Well, the Wallingford piece is a 50-cent number, but it's $1.2 million worth of property.
That should be.
Could be.
Should be Clarendon.
Yep.
One little piece with Shrewsbury, actually we're on the winning side of that. And with Ira, we're more on the winning side than the losing side. But that's much less, you're on top of the mountain in the woods. It's much less valuable property.
And what are you recommending us to take some kind of action or?
Well, I'm going to get to
some
that
legal?
in a second.
All right, that's where my other question is.
Okay. Anyways, one of the things that I did was to talk to some of the people that are involved in maps at the state level. I talked to the V-Trans guy that is doing maps. I don't remember his name right now. And then I talked to a guy that is in the map person for the state of Vermont, a fellow by the name of Fox. Give me that little slip of paper right there. Thank you. Fellow by the name of David Fox, who is the go-to person in the state of Vermont for maps. And I had a nice conversation with him. And what he said was that there seems to be no consistency with any of the town boundaries across the state. And that things have just happened over the years and people have taken it as what it's supposed to be. And what he also said was that in the late 1700s and 1800s that there weren't many people in the south end of Clarendon. There were people in the north of Wallingford, and probably things just happened. But there's no documents that can show or demonstrate anything that is supposed to be what it is, according to him. He said over the past 20 years what towns have done that have had a concern over their boundary was they've gotten together and a surveyor was called in, and that surveyor person had the responsibility of searching all kinds of documents. Bob and I have started to look at some of the stuff that is on file from the surveyors general for the state. So far we haven't found anything of great help, but we're still looking. Anyways, what he says is that the towns get together with a surveyor, and then the surveyor researches documents, does a survey to establish the line, whatever it might be in his or her opinion, and then shares that with the two towns in question. And if they agree as to, yes, that seems reasonable, then the legislature will pass an action that says this is the line. That's how it's resolved in the state of Vermont from what he was telling me. So, the next question is, what kind of recommendations do you guys have, or what would you like us to try to do next, if anything?
Seems to me like, given the fact that going over some of your numbers, tax dollar wise, it might be worth our while to spend some money researching whatever the steps are that is recommended, and trying to get our property back in our town if that's how it works. That's my opinion.
Well, I mean, that is of course a desirable thing, but I would guess that we're going to get some resistance to that notion. So we'll inquire as to the steps that would need to be taken and all of that, and report back to you guys.
I will warn you, this can get expensive in a hurry.
Well, of course it can.
Yes.
I know that, I don't know how publicized it was, but Wallingford and Teignmouth were in a land dispute for the last year and a half, and I don't know if there ever was a resolution to it. And it got messy in a hurry.
Yeah.
And also expect your relationship with the town that you are working against to go sour in a hurry as well.
Oh, of course.
So I would caution any action.
And the frustrating part here is sometime after 1854, when they made a change with IRA, and before 1869, when the current map has been in use since at least then, the state agreed this is what it is, and now you go online, and those lines, that shape is sitting online still with this new mapping thing. And it's kind of frustrating that we can't just say, okay, you said for more than 150 years this is the shape of the town, and you can't give us something saying this is the shape of the town. It's a little frustrating in that sense. It's like, why do they say that's our town if they have nothing to?
I mean, you're also talking,
substantiate it?
you got to think about it the way you're talking surveying of splitting of parcels, because you've got parcels that are going to cross state lines.
Well, we got them now, but yes.
But I'm talking about a whole new slew of them. I mean, your property owners aren't going to bear that cost. The town's going to bear that cost.
Yeah.
I mean, a survey of every lot, surveying's not cheap either. So
I don't know. We wouldn't need every lot. We just need the boundaries between
Outer boundary.
yeah, but then you have to
the
survey
interior parcels.
not the interior parcels, but everyone that crosses the town line is going to have to be
On a
resurveyed.
split.
Yeah, that's
To
going to
split
be your problem.
And then the deed's rewritten.
the ones that think they're in one spot when they're in another, and
The deeds rewritten
Yeah, the
too.
deeds will have to be rewritten.
Right, it would not be cheap.
No,
That's-
we're talking,
That's like Jay's house. It's part Shrewsbury, part Clarendon, and
Yeah,
That's frustrating.
Yeah.
State says this is the shape of the town, they have it online, this is the shape of the town, and they say, oh, go talk to someone else and get a survey.
Well, there would be, in my opinion, you know, given that now you're bringing this out to the public, that there is some issue, I think the first best step for us would be is to, you know, jump on the bandwagon with the state first, because are they misrepresenting what our boundaries are, or is the other town misrepresenting? And I think that if you go that route first, just to get clarification, then I think the next step then after that would be then to spend the money
That would
to,
be my first druthers, is to push the state, saying, folks, you say this is, you know, you
This
say
is
this
it,
our
prove it.
town.
yeah, that's right. And that's why what I would recommend going up to the state and going that direction first.
And with this new parcel mapping thing on a statewide basis, you go online, you got each individual parcel where it falls on what the state says are the town boundaries. You know, that's what's glaring, and, you know, so I think the first step is perhaps pushing the state.
one of the things that, I suspect is gonna happen, I'm not sure if it has yet or not, is if you go on the state website, and if you guys get a chance to, we'd be happy to help you get there. I know you've got the skills to do it with no question, but, you know, some of us are not as talented, I'm certainly not. But if you go on there and click on a parcel, and it'll come up on, according to the grand list as to what town it's in, but it's very clear to see that the boundary is around it or not anywhere near it, whatever the case may be. And we haven't had any questions yet of, well, what town am I in? So I suspect we might get some at some point. So anyways, that is about all that I wanted to make sure that you guys are aware of what we're doing and have done. And we'll keep you abreast of things as they develop.
Now, you're gonna, you listers are gonna take it upon themselves to contact the state first and. try
Well,
and-
we've started to talk with them at this point, and we
Okay.
certainly can continue on.
I mean,
Right, they're representing a certain boundaries for the town. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, you say this, you gotta,
back
Go
it up.
and you gotta back it up.
and maybe they'll have to do the research.
Well, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but-
But I mean, I would go that route first, given that, you know, what Robbie's concerns are with surveyors and all this, and then,
Financial.
Yep.
oh, big money.
yeah, let's see what the state is saying, oh no, this is your boundary. If there was an issue down there, the state had no problem coming to the select board and raising hell.
Yep.
So, you know,
Well, look what happened over there in the rec department thing.
yep.
So, okay, we'll continue on and keep you guys informed, and we'll go from there.
This isn't the first time we had this dance, because over there on 103, remember this,
103,
Bob?
yes.
Where the railroad
Shrewsbury.
station used to be.
Yep.
That guy said that, well, that's Clarendon. Oh, no, it's not a Shrewsbury. And then we got into a contest.
Yep.
I'll use that term, with Shrewsbury for a short period of time.
Yep, life can be fun.
So it's one of them things to me, if you get into it, you wanna be pretty damn sure you're on good footing, or you're gonna wind up behind the 8 ball.
That's true.
Yep.
We're just going by the state maps.
Yeah.
Anyways, anything else, anybody?
No.
All in, all done?
Yeah.
Anything?
Nope, we're good.
Okay.
thank you, George.
Well, thank
Thank
you.
you, George.
Probably gonna duck out pretty soon.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for your work, you guys.
Yep.
Done good. Probably first time in a long time where we've been
That'll be here,
as
so
efficient.
you
You
guys
guys are doing it right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep track of this.
Good times had by all.
All right, Heidi, do you have anything you want to report?
Yes, I do.
Probably put those back up here, there's nobody here.
So,
Come in the morning.
At our last budget meeting,
Right by you, Bob.
we reported that, the board had decided that the budget as it stood, would be what it was gonna be to be presented to the voters on town meeting day. And, I had reported that the taxes would be going up $45,000 from last year. What I did not take into account was that the $15,000 that is budgeted to go into the bridge repair fund is actually a standalone article. So the amount to be raised in the proposed budget for fiscal '22 versus this current year is actually $30,130.10. So it's $15,000 less what was what I had said at our last meeting or last budget meeting. So that's good news. So I've presented you all with a comparative budget report with all of the changes made. And if you all agree to this with that change to the current tax line, then we will go ahead and prepare Article 3 and the rest of the warning for you to approve at your next select board meeting.
I think, I appreciate the clarification. I'll be honest with you, I didn't even notice that. I climb poles for a living. The board, I think, I'd like to get a consensus now. How do you feel about this proposed budget? And should we move forward with and I don't know, we have to vote this in, right?
Well, you'll approve it on the warrant.
Well, my personal feeling, we sat here and we went through it. I think Heidi done a good job of getting things for us and getting us the information. And I believe Katie worked with her some. I was kind of happy to see the extra 15,000. Not my head was.
Yeah.
Heidi explained to me tonight when I came in.
Yep.
But otherwise, I know it's going to be up maybe a penny, maybe two, which don't make anybody happy really, but it's happening all over, and I guess I would say from my perspective, do it.
Cash, would you like to weigh in?
Yeah, I totally agree with what Bob just said. As much as we went over at budget time, crunching numbers and stuff and holding basically to the basics. The best thing I can see, at least everything wasn't level funded, which I totally disagree with, because as life progresses, everything progresses. So small steps are not bad in my view compared to big steps and increased taxes. So.
Rob?
Yeah, I was pleased with, I am still pleased with the budget that we're presenting, and I think that, 1 cent and a fraction, I mean, it's really what it is. It's less than 2 cents. I think is a reasonable budget. I think it's probably, if you want to call it, within the margin of inflation, so to speak. I think that I think we're presenting a reasonable budget to the voters, so I'm pleased with the work.
And I want to emphasize the fact that when we were going through the budget over and over again at different meetings and stuff, we did realize, what's going on in the world today, COVID-19 and all this, and we took a lot of that into consideration for some of the hard stances we had to take to hold the budget.
I think one of the most significant stances we took was the freezing of salaries.
Yep.
And the fact that we were not doing any increases this year. I think that was a hard decision to make, but I also think that given everything that's gone on, I think it's appropriate. I think we needed to do that this year, and next year's a new year, and we can revisit it a year from now. But I think we did what we had to do to keep things within check for the voters on a year that is especially difficult.
It is. And I appreciate, Heidi, your work on this. and other board members, you know, weighing in, and it's a hard thing, as Robbie points out, but we all are kind of suffering in need and all these things, so, and I will say that, the road commissioner, as well as the rest of the road crew, you guys are taking a little bit of a hit here, but you're performing better than I've seen the road crew do in quite a while, so I think it's a good thing.
With that being said, we did have one last appropriation request come in, which would also be a separate article on the ballot. It is in the white binder in the front there. It was from the Rutland County Restorative Justice Center, and they are asking to have an article on the ballot in the amount of $500. I put their request letter as well as their statement showing what programs they run. To give you an idea, they're the ones who run Diversion, Tamarack, a youth substance awareness safety program.
This is the one that was also a claim of messed up mail, right?
Yes, so
It was supposed to get to us on time.
this particular request was put in the mail on December 10th, and the address was not correct, and so it was returned to them the first week of the new year, so last week, and I received a panicked phone call that we did not receive this, and they were very passionate about getting this to you to have you decide whether it should be on the ballot or not. They even went so far as to say that they would scan me a copy of the envelope showing the postmark date on it so that we could see that it was mailed in plenty of time to get to you folks.
They understand that it's a separate article, and
Yes.
so,
Yep. And they also understood that our hard deadline is December 31st for accepting appropriation requests. I did tell her to go ahead and scan me this information since she did have that envelope with the postmark date on it. Similar to our tax collection standards where we do accept postmarks for tax collection. So I told her I would present it to you all and let her know either way, whether you choose to approve it to be an article on the ballot or not, that I would let her know tomorrow.
Given the extenuating circumstances and the fact that I know the post office was extremely backed up this year, based on reports that I saw, I would go ahead and make a motion and say that we admit this article to the ballot.
is there a second for discussion?
I'll second for discussion.
Is there any discussion?
The only thing I'll say, we do want to remember, there's a certain amount of cost to printing these ballots, which is fine. Going on as a separate item, I can live with that all right, because the people are gonna make the choice, whether
Right.
we give them any money or not. So our only expense is what we spend administratively. So I guess probably in that respect, yes.
Well, and I'll amend my motion to state that this is like the one and only time, like, I mean, to say that this is an exceptional case, that we do not make a habit of this.
Right, and they did in fact go the extra mile to,
And the only reason I'm really doing it is based on the evidence that they provided. They provided evidence that they had it in the mail
right,
reasonable. I mean, we have that hard deadline for a reason. We don't accept articles past that date on purpose, so, but they're proving, again, that
they attempted to
they
do the right
attempted
thing.
and that it didn't. So again, this is like the one exception. I'm willing to make the motion.
I'll still second Robert's motion.
Okay, so there's been a motion made, second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Do you have anything else?
No, I will let Ms. Shaw know that they will have their
Up to the
article
vote.
on the ballot. And
Katie,
we'll
do you-
have the warning ready for you to approve at your next select board meeting.
Katie, do you have anything?
I received in the mail from Paul Frank Collins attorneys, they represent Triland Partners, that the 63-acre solar LLC is sending this letter to notify you that on January 4th, its application for a certificate of public good for the project was deemed administratively complete by the Vermont Public Utility Commission. So I have a whole packet of all their forms and permits if you ever need to look over them, but it sounds official now, so.
Is that the project on Middle Road or the project on Alphresia Road?
Alphresia.
Alphresia Road?
So,
How many acres is it gonna be again?
oh, well, it's called 63 acre.
The name is 63 acre, but, because that size of the field was a 13 acre.
It's gonna be a 13 acre, right? Okay. I knew it had, it's just a notification, obviously.
Instead of scanning the whole packet, I thought I'd just let you know that
Yeah,
I
no,
do
that's
have it.
That's good.
All right, well, they have to jump through the hoops, so,
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'll
That's right
just-
up in the northeast corner.
yeah, up behind that wall, tree line, isn't it?
Yeah, way back in the back
northeast
side.
corner. Yeah.
Yep, yep, yep.
Katie, do you have anything else?
That's it.
Do you have any concerns, Katie?
This is something, I don't know if I should have brought it up earlier, but over the transfer station, I had a couple complaints about the food waste. Especially probably this holiday season, actually it was running over. So I don't know if that's something we wanna, talk with Tom about at the transfer stations, see if it's another tote is needed, especially during holiday seasons or whatever.
I think maybe, can we get in touch with Casella and,
I think I gotta touch base with Tom weeks first,
Yeah, but
You know-
I think Tom has
his opinion or,
spoken to Casellas a couple of times about
Yes.
another container because
yeah.
it does run over. It was in the summertime and it ran over.
I think that, I've heard those same concerns, taking my own stuff over. And, I think it's time for the select board to get a hold of Casella and say one of two things, either give us two or give us a bigger container.
It's not Casella, it's a private contractor, isn't it?
Casella's truck comes in and dumps
Pick it up.
It is?
Casella's
Okay.
truck gets it,
I didn't
yeah.
realize
They got a nice brand new truck. On that note, we seem to, especially during the holiday season, I realize it, but the cardboard bin.
Oh, I
And I
know.
mentioned to Tom, I says, why can't we get charged per pull, why can't we have a bigger bin? We're going over there, I mean, at least more than once a week lately.
We argued that a while back when we first started having that, and the problem was that older folks trying to get their cardboard into the thing. Remember, then we had the end open.
Yeah.
People
Okay.
were, then they,
So there is, okay,
and so there was some concerns that way.
yep, okay.
But I think one thing that would help some over there too, and I'm not sure how you convince people to do it, is to flatten the cardboard before they put it in.
Yeah.
Because you'll
Quite
see
a
a
bit-
lot of people just throw the boxes in.
Quite a bit is flattened though,
Oh yeah, they're flattening some of it, but,
there's quite a bit. but
you'll see quite a lot that
there's
isn't.
some that's not. got
The other
called-
thing is, did you get in touch with the guy for that light?
Yes, he hadn't returned my call yet, and I've talked to Dave twice, and, good. Dan's supposed to get a hold of me. Maybe I'll
Follow up
reach
tomorrow?
out again.
Yeah.
Yep.
While you're on the transfer station subject, because this was one of the things I was gonna mention, Joe talked to me, when I was over there, not this last Saturday, but the Saturday before, and he said that one of the things they've been talking about, was whether or not we should shut down the, brush pile for a while. He said it did just get burned, but he said it's really needs to be cleaned up and get put back in order in the springtime, he feels, before it starts collecting again. I know that it's a constant thorn in the road crew side when they have to go over and push it up, but I don't know what your thoughts are.
I have no problem with it, but the problem is, just like today when we're over there to pick up signs early this morning, I had the loader over there, so I pushed down the cardboard, the metal bent, and pushed up the brush pile. It's some of the brush that's coming in there should not even be in there
Yeah, it's too-
with the size of chunks and stuff.
Too big a chunks.
It needs to be regulated in that aspect more.
So basically, too big of chunks are getting dropped off.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
That happened a couple of times, remember?
Yeah,
We
we've
had-
been down that road before. As a matter of fact,
actually-
Cash mentioned that. I was over there a couple of weeks ago, and I see there was some pretty good size stuff in that pile. It's not supposed, because that's supposed to be what, 2 inch and down, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't,
2 inch down.
yeah.
Wow.
I think
2 inch.
that's what it's supposed to be.
Maybe it was 4, but
Well, maybe we ought to have a sign there to explain to the people that are bringing the stuff in that that's what it is.
Well, a lot of times what happens is,
Cause there's a lot,
when we had Harry as the tree police, and, even when Al Milo was there, what happens is people put the bigger chunks under the
Underneath.
brush.
right.
And so you drive in there and you
Figured that out.
you know,
when I
you looked and you,
saw the piles,
yeah.
yeah.
And
the way it
so,
was. I actually called Rough Ford this morning to let him know that when I pushed it up, it was still smoldering from the last time they burned it. And it might reignite, so he was gonna check on it, but also mentioned that probably a good time. They had if they could actually burn it more often.
Yeah.
That'd help a lot.
Don't stop it right now. I got a tree I got to cut.
Well, I think
That's all I got for it.
I was asked to pass it along. I passed it along. So
Okay,
I
so-
did my duty.
Yeah.
do you have anything, Bob?
No, just reiterate what you just said about the brush over there. The people, they come in, they throw it in the bottom of the truck,
Yeah.
brush on top.
So even
That's
when
how
you
it
have
gets
the brush police down there looking, you can't see unless you stand there the whole time.
That's it.
Used to be, you used to come in and then you'd have to stop up at the little office, have them look for a while, then you drive around and then back in there and dump your stuff, but that didn't work out too well either.
No, that's a hard one to control over there, truthfully.
Yeah.
Having worked over there a little bit years ago, they'll just sneak by you and
Yeah. I don't have anything. Rob, do you have anything else?
I'm all set tonight.
I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Good night, all.